Let's discuss this further with Brigadier General Jaroslaw Strozyk. He's an adjunct professor at the University of Wrocław. He previously served as Director of Analysis at the Polish Military Intelligence Service and is also a former Deputy Intelligence Director at NATO. General, good to have you on the show. There were some who had expected the Russian president to outright declare war on Ukraine, because up until now, this has been called a special military operation. Not only a declaration of war on Ukraine, but in fact also possibly on other countries. He did not do this. I mean, is this something that you expected? I want your analysis in terms of the tone of the Russian president's speech.
Somehow President Putin surprised ourselves again by not declaring the war, by not declaring the full mobilization of the Russian army and economy. So again, he surprised us. But to be perfectly blunt, his tone and his look, his speech was quite pessimistic from his point of view, I believe. And the tone is quite opposite to the aggression. Maybe that's his narrative to the West, that he's ready to negotiate somehow to finish this war or special operation, how we call this. But that's very interesting that he seems to be defeated in terms of his own propaganda. Of course, he repeated so many lies. I mean, old lies, even like 15 years old lies from München, from his famous speech. But anyway, the tone of this speech is very pessimistic for Russia and quite optimistic for the West.
General, the Russian president said that Russia's intervention in Ukraine had been necessary because the West was, quote, preparing for the invasion of our land, including Crimea. I'm wondering what he may be referring to. Do you think that may have meant that NATO was preparing to admit Ukraine, and therefore, because he sees Ukraine as Russian territory, it would have been an invasion in that sort? What is your assessment on
that? He said something about preemptive strike that Russia was forced to make. Preemptive because NATO wanted to take this Russian territory, and that's simply a lie. NATO is purely defensive as such, but this is again nothing new. In 2014, he was saying very much about New Russia, Novaya Rossia, so that he claimed those territories belonged to Russia. And as I said, repeating lies doesn't mean that's true. And he will not stop NATO from opening its doors to any independent country in the future, I believe.
Okay, let's talk about the facts on the ground. I'm going to talk about this with our defense analyst, Uba Shapandar, in just a bit. But the first phase of this military operation has been quite dreadful for the Russian military. They've lost a number of generals, aside from the thousands of lives. But they have made some military gains. I mean, do you feel that this could be a signal in terms of a gaining of momentum for the Russian forces? It may be slow, but it's actually gaining territory.
Indeed, they claimed some territories, some new small cities or villages, but I wouldn't call it to gain the momentum. It's small steps, of course. You can call it winning, but that's still small territories, still those regions, the same regions he was fighting in 2014. So I wouldn't claim this any gains, real gains. Of course, for this internal narrative, he could claim whatever he wants. But speaking about this parade, one sentence, if you may,
sure.
I would even say that number of generals and number of troops present on the Red Square equals to the number of casualties in Ukraine, but that's my observation.
Okay, Brigadier General Jaroslaw Strozyk, thank you very much for joining us here on the NewsHour. Do appreciate the analysis.